What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
The Farewell, new movie out in theaters, independent film written and directed by Lulu Wang, based on a story, an episode of This American Life, which I believe Lulu Wang was on, describing a time where she discovered the major cultural difference between America and China, her being a Chinese American, and finding out that her Nai, her grandma, had cancer in China. But what they do in China is that they don't tell the person that's diagnosed with the disease, they don't tell them how long they have. They tell their family, and it's culturally done this way, where the family takes on the burden of knowing that this person has cancer, but not telling them, because they have a belief that knowing that you have the cancer is, I mean, one, it's a worse way to go out, because like from the moment I would imagine that you find out you have cancer and you have like 3 months to live or whatever it is, 3 years to live, 3 days to live, it's gonna traumatize you a bit. So I don't know. So anyway, so this is kind of the story of this family who has kind of grown apart, where there's a mixture of the traditional Chinese culture, and then you have the more Americanized version, and then just kind of how people, when they move away and grow apart, culturally things change, and how when they get back together, it's kind of it adds a bit of drama. So that's what that's what the movie's about. This movie's about this family who is pretending that they're in China for a wedding, but they're really there so they could see their grandma one more time before she passes away. And one of the lead of the film is Aquafina, who's the well-known rapper who has also been in a bunch of movies as of recently. Ocean's 8. She was in the Crazy Rich Asians movie, and she was in something else, I think, too. But she's been in a lot of stuff. This probably her most dramatic role to date, the most serious role. And it's just a beautiful film, just so good. The writer and director of the film was on a podcast that I would recommend called Culturally Relevant. I talked about it on this show a few weeks back when it first started. Interviews with artists and directors and filmmakers, interviewed by David Chen, the host of the Filmcast. And it was an interesting conversation. David Chen himself is an Asian American, I believe Chinese, and his wife is also Chinese, and they had a discussion as well about this film, which I enjoyed. I'd listened to that interview and their discussion prior to watching this movie. It just got released out in my neck of the woods, so I was able to actually watch it in theaters, which I'm glad. It was just, I mean, it's independent, but it has, like, the way it's filmed. The director said, like, she had to choose. They didn't, with independent films, the budget's a lot more narrowed, and they had to make a choice of how it was going to be produced and filmed, and she decided to go with long, wide takes for a lot of the family interactions, and I think that played out way better. It just, I don't know. I enjoy that kind of filmmaking. I enjoy directors that allow scenes to kind of play out in the camera frame rather than just tons of edits and close-ups. And, it just doesn't have the same feeling when you have, like, close-up of person talking to close-up of person talking. It's just, I don't know. But anyway, so it added to the feel. Also, it was cool to kind of see China. You don't really get to see movies that are based in China. Not that a lot of this movie takes place outdoors, but there are a few scenes where they're driving around, and you kind of get to see the differences, how it looks, and things like that. Movie was also primarily spoken in Chinese, so it was a lot of subtitles, although they do speak English as well. It was just all around a really great film. The story is very unique. I enjoyed Aquafina's performance. She's very just like torn as far as wanting to tell her nai. Her family doesn't even want her to go because they know that she's going to spill the beans or whatever. But she shows up anyway, and you get to see the different people in the family and how they're torn in their own ways, and how just family drama anyway, where a family that's kind of grown apart and moved away from each other, when they all get back together again, kind of seeing the rifts and friction that they had prior. But it's really a kind of a story about Aquafina and her nai and their love. And the actress that plays nai is she was great. She was just so like adorable and just so loving. I was really concerned with the terms of affection, calling the kids idiots and stupid children. Like, I get that it's like I would not like that. That would I don't really like being insulted as a kind of a term of endearment is not, that doesn't really compute. Like, calling me an asshole isn't really like something that warms my heart. So listening to the family and how that's kind of, at least the grandma, how she kind of speaks to the grandkids and things like that. It's like done in love. It's not like she's calling him an idiot, like you're fucking retard or anything like that. She's just like, that's just kind of like, oh, you're silly kids. Instead of saying silly, it's just like, oh, you're an idiot. Like you're an idiot child. Oh, stupid child. But I don't know. I loved it. I was in this movie. It was, just a fun time at the theater, a fun story. And there's a little clip, because this movie is based on a true story. At the very end of the movie, you get to see the real nai doing her kind of tai chi of letting out the bad energy. Ha, 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 ha. And then big breaths. You get to see her with a little interesting information on, the Chinese do this as a specific way to, potentially help people live better and live longer from this cancer. And maybe there's a little piece of hope, little piece of joy that comes along with seeing nai at the end. I don't know if nai is still alive, but it was touching. But just all good. Even the because they were there to go to a wedding, quote unquote wedding. So it was Aquafina's cousin was going to get married, and he's like clearly just started seeing this girl from Japan. That's where part of the family moved to, was Japan. And it's like a wedding that was put together for the sole purpose of to see the grandma. So, but they still have to go through the wedding. It's kind of it's a fun kind of a movie with a serious undertones and a lot of emotion, because the scenes where people, when they're not around nai and they're talking about the reality of the situation, it always brings back the gravity of what is actually going on, that she's got cancer and that she's dying. But it's just a beautiful film that kind of touches on a lot of different tones and a lot of different emotions, and a great performance by Awkwafina. Looking forward to more of her acting. I think she's going to be she's going to be a superstar, if not already. But new episodes of this show come out every day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my original artwork. Please buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on all social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out.